ground sensor faults. So that told me that I needed to look up the wiring harness diagram. Guess what? All 3 of those sensors had one common ground. And so I was able to go into the ECU, find the pin, and shove the ground back in there, fix the whole car.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so the new ECUs are worth their weight in gold just for troubleshooting purposes.
Really?
Yep.
So you would recommend if someone was to get into these type of cars to just go like Haltech just for...
Dude, Haltech, Link is good. I can't say that I can say great things about AEM anymore. I just know too many people that have had issues with them. I think AEM was bought out by Holley recently. So I think, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that AEM...
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. So one of my buddies right now has a 2JZ Mark III, and he's swapping from the AEM to the Link setup because he's just had nothing but problems with the ECU since he got it.
Link is very similar to Haltech?
I want to say yes. I've never dealt with Link personally, but I know that like there's Haltech guys and then there's Link guys, and everyone is very passionate on their side about which one's the superior ECU. But back in the day, Link was like a piggyback chip. And now they've really moved forward. Like they have their own ECU cases, they have levels of it, they have their own digital dash displays, it all works together, the CAN bus setup like Haltech is, it's all plug and play. I'd rock it, but Haltech.
So for the people that want to go Haltech, do you see any other differences other than just the diagnosis wise? So like drivability, like power?
Man, it's like...
Is it like a night and day difference?
It's confidence. It's confidence and all the little fun things, dude. So like you get into the ECU, right, and you're like, man, this is nice. You can plug your computer up to it and you see what's wrong. And then you can buy fun attachments to it.
Yeah.
You're like, I want a wideband. You don't have to wire in the wideband like you do. You just get the little attachment, plug it right in. I want boost control and I want to control it from my computer. Plug right in. I want a digital dash display. Plug right in.
So it's just
easy.
It's just easy, yeah. So talking about products, because I think you were talking about how you were one of the first whenever Precision was producing turbos.
Yep.
Have you seen, not just with Precision but with other companies, have you seen a difference in quality over the years?
Oh, massive. Okay, so when I ordered my Precision ball bearing turbo, they were only doing journal bearing back then. So they had just started producing ball bearing, and mine actually came with a lifetime warranty card. Yeah.
Really? Lifetime?
That's okay. So, but the funny thing is like the turbo is still good. And like I just kept this little card. It was nostalgic after a while. I had no intentions on if it blew up, I wasn't going to hold them to that,
Yeah.
But I called Precision one day and I was like, I just got to ask. I was like, are you guys still warranting this lifetime guarantee? And they were like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, dude, I got a warranty registration card. And they were like, well, tell us about it. And I explained it to them and they're like, dude, we have no idea what you're talking about. So I took a picture of it and emailed it to them, and nobody had any clue what they were looking at. No one remembered, because you know how turnaround is, like staffing and stuff. So my turbo, the longevity of it had outlasted the staff at the time.
That is wild.
Yep, my buddy Will that has a little turbo Prelude, he has the same generation turbo on his, and I think he had to have his rebuilt for some reason, but he didn't get in on the first run, so he didn't get the card. Because I told him, I was like, they sent me this warranty card, man, lifetime. He's like, I'm gonna get that. And then he bought his like a little while after mine, no warranty card.
Really?
Yep, but he had to have there was a part that he had to replace, and so he ordered it from Precision with the casting numbers, and they sent him the part out and it wasn't the right part. And so he had to like measure it and send everything back to them, and they were like, dude, how old is that turbo? And he had to do the math, and he was like, dude, that's old. So they actually had the part in stock, thank goodness. But it's not even how like they build their turbos anymore.
Really? So they just changed?
Well, they've gotten better.
Yeah.
New technology comes out, it gets better. People have moved from journal bearing to ball bearing. You guys already know that. The fun thing is Precision has now gone back to a journal bearing setup that is more cost effective. So you can get like a brand new Precision turbo now with like a 720 journal bearing turbo, and you can get one from like $700 to $900.
Really?
Yeah, and they only do it in the small trim, so it's still a little quick spooling guy. You know what I mean? Like, do you really need a dual ball bearing on like a little bitty baby turbo? You know what I mean? So they've done that. I've seen a company, Apex Turbos. They've gotten really popular.
Oh yeah, Apex.
They came out of nowhere. I never heard of them. And then I started seeing them on like big Turbo 2JZs.
Yeah.
And recently, Speed Factory Racing, they have the world record holding all-wheel drive Honda. And they just switched to Apex, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
So you know that they're serious when they're taking, like, the world championship people have ditched precision and are moving to Apex.
Apex is a good brand. Well, we've had 2 cars come through with
Have y'all had good luck with them?
Yeah, I think one made almost 800 wheel.
Yep.
And for their pricing, like if you look at the pricing compared to other turbos on the market, it's not bad.
Yeah, dude. Like, I've never dabbled in Garrett.
Yeah.
Just because you got to pay Garrett prices, dude. Like, everyone's like, you should have done a Garrett. And I'm like, dude, I spent big money on my precision, and Garrett wants another 1,000 on top of that.
Yeah.
But you do pay for the experience of Garrett. I mean,
Yeah,
turbos on everything, dude.
Yeah, we use Garrett for all our products here too. So
Oh, yeah.
they're-
Nothing but the best.
They're good. The one that we had on HR Bay, that turbo came off of Nick's car, original DE.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
Oh, yeah.
So that shows you quality. But another thing, powder coating. How'd you get into powder coating?
So powder coating was a mistake. Not a mistake, but it mistakenly happened to me.
Yeah.
So here I am, I'm a car guy, I've been in construction my whole life. Every little bit of extra money I get, I spend on cars. I get the GTR, and like I never thought that I was going to own a GTR. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, they didn't ever exist here. And now everyone's extremely familiar with the 25-year rule. They're all over the place, but there was a time where people didn't know about the 25-year rule. Like, I didn't know they were coming. You know, like I was in my RB25 240 hatch, and I think I had a little 4-door Civic, and we were going out to dinner one night, me and the missus, and we go through Monroe, and I see a dude I know from the car scene, and he's in a GTR. And I was like, oh, whoa, you know, I was like, what? Like, I'm actually seeing one?
Yeah.
And Cartier was like, what is that? I was like, baby, that's a GTR. I was like, that's the bee's knees, a Nissan right there. That's it. That's the top. And we just got to dinner, and I was like, man, just a dream of mine to have one. And she was like, well, why don't you get one? And I was like, for real? And she was like, yeah. She was like, but you got to sell some cars to get it, you know?
Yeah.
So I basically had to liquidate my car collection back then to get one car. So I sold the RB240. I had a 86 200 SX, and their rear wheel drive, and I swapped a KA24 out of a 96 240 into it. And it was a little donut machine, dude. Like, I welded up the rear end, and it would just flick circles, but it was ugly. They were so ugly they were cool. And I had that, and I had a 2013 Civic Si 4-door. And I also had my work truck. So I had my truck. We never drove the Civic because I was always in my truck. And she was like, you sell these cars? She's like, go get your GTR. And I did, and I got it. And dude, after that, I started powder coating little pieces on it. Because I think, man, I get off task so fast, don't I? You asked me about powder coating, and I'm back to talking about cars again. So how I got into powder coating was I got the GTR, and the covers on it were pretty nasty. I looked into powder coating. I didn't know what it was. YouTubed it, Googled it. You know, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So went out and bought a little electric oven for my garage, wired it up, cardboard box for a spray booth, Harbor Freight gun, and just did the valve covers, put them back on. And it wasn't pretty, man. But it was red. It was red. I was happy with it. So fast forward, I come up here to get my tune, and Nick and George are looking at the car. The car was clean. Like, I imported it through a very reputable dealer, and the car was super clean. And you buy these cars sight unseen, you know? So, like, when they show up, you're like, come on, be a good one, be a good one. But I come up here, and they check out the powder coating work, and they ask me, well, who did your powder coating? And I'm like, oh, I do a little bit of powder coating for fun. George comes in, gets 2 catch cans. They're just raw aluminum. He wants them in the textured black that you guys like. He's like, here, powder coat these for me. And I was like, dude, I'm like super rookie. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I barely made it through these valve covers. And they're like, oh, you figure it out. And so I was like, crap. All right, so I'm on the hook for these 2 catch cans now, right? And I don't know much about what y'all do here, but I knew they weren't cheap. So I'm like, oh my God, don't mess this up, don't mess this up, don't mess this up. And I got them back to them, and you know, it wasn't the performance of a lifetime, But he was like, man, he's like, these are good enough. These are acceptable. Because apparently it's hard to find a decent powder coater. Like they're few and far between is what I've learned since I've been in the business. So like George and Nick believed in me, and I can't be thankful enough for that. Because honestly, if it wasn't for me getting that car, messing around in my garage, coming up here, and hanging out with you guys, the best damn powder coating would not exist, I don't think. So that was the jump start. And so I got those catch cans. Of course, you got to show off. You just powder coated 2 catch cans. The world's got to know.
Oh yeah.
So you hit Facebook and Instagram. You're making posts, and then like I said, I've been into cars since I was a teenager. I know a lot of the guys around here in the speed shops, and then they found out that I was doing powder coating, and they kept bringing me stuff. They just started showing up. Oh, Kirby, I didn't know you were a powder coater. I was like, I am not, and I just kept hearing the same thing time and time again. They're like, you'll figure it out. So like, I have all this anxiety. I have all these car parts for these reputable shops. I'm like, man, I can look stupid real fast here. So had to get serious about it. And it got to the point where I was working evenings, I was working weekends. I'd have to call out of actual like jobs that I had for construction remodel work. Had to get these parts done, and then one day just decided to make the jump over to powder coating, and here we are now. We have a real shop. We have real employees. We have a real employee at this point. But yeah, it's going good. That's how I got into powder coating.
So after you jumped into powder coating and you had to make that transition to basically doing it full time, what was the big jump? Like, what was that big jump that made you go from, okay, I'm gonna take this serious and like just focus on powder coating?
Well, so I come from a construction family, 3rd generation, maybe farther back from the ones that were alive. I know I'm a 3rd generation construction worker. You know what I mean? So it was never like I'm passionate about construction work. It was never something that I wanted to do. And I just got to a point where I knew I was, not say unhappy, but it was like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like I really didn't, How many like old construction workers do you meet that are like not broke down, And I was in my like 32, I think. Dude, my lower back was junk, my hips, my knees, it was just bad. And my wife saw it too. Like I was already rickety old man at like 31, 32, and the powder coating was good. And like I was like, man, I came to the decision. I was like, I'm not going to make as much money as I make in construction powder coating. I was like, but can you really put a price on your health and your mobility?
Correct.
Yeah, so the wife was very supportive. I built a little shop in my backyard, and originally it was to house the Integra for the drag racing build, I swear. Like I built like a shop, like snuck it around the HOA, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm building a garden shed. And then I erected the biggest shop that I could afford to stick build because of all the construction I was capable of doing so. So I built this shop in my backyard. It was for the Integra, and I was like, we're going to start powder coating in the little shop in the backyard. And man, I started powder coating right around the time of the shutdown, and all of my buddies were still in construction too, and their work dried up because no one wanted anyone in their house. Yeah. Everyone was staying home, everyone was taking their cars apart, and I don't know why everyone kept bringing stuff to me, dude. Like, for the life of me, I still can't figure that part out. Like, I have no reputation besides the fact I did some stuff for you guys, I did some stuff for another shop, but dude, it was weird. Like, it just hit one day, and I started a little Instagram for it. There was no advertising, and my Instagram just starts going off, my Facebook starts going off. I didn't even have time to get back to most of these people. I got my shops full of parts, my living rooms full of parts. I'm talking about my upstairs spare bedrooms full of parts, dude. I got stuff everywhere, and it just took off for reasons that I'll never know or can't explain why. But there was a good bit of anxiety at the beginning because everyone thinks powder coating is this easy thing. I mean, I thought it. I was stupid enough to believe that myself. I was like, this is going to be great. It's like, I'm going to sit in my little shop. It's going to be so chill. I put a little TV up in there so I could watch Trailer Park Boys and stuff. Dude, you ain't got any time to watch TV while you're doing powder coating, man. It's grueling. So the biggest challenge to the entire situation is getting old powder coat off.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the worst parts that people don't understand. They don't see it. So you think that I'm going to get a decent little blast set up, right? Like sandblaster, media blaster, whatever media you want to use. Well, you need a crap ton of CFM to even be able to support something like that. I'm talking like $10,000 plus air compressor. I ain't got that. So there is this disgusting chemical. It's some kind of acid. It's bad stuff, dude. You get on your skin, it burns your skin off.
Oh.
You get around it, and the smell of it sticks to you in your clothing, and you can't get rid of it. You get it in your eyes, you're blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're burnt. So I had to get some of that, and it's not cheap. And so I could only afford enough to strip like half a dang wheel at a time because it was that pricey. So like, and there's a lot of mistakes in the beginning, lots of learning curves. And so you're just like, what was that? Why did that happen? What? And so you're just redoing. So that's like the biggest struggle at the beginning is getting set up to properly handle redos and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and people don't bring you clean, pretty items.
Yeah.
You know, you get, if you're in the automotive powder coating industry, you get the nasty of the nasty, dude. You're like, did you add oil to this before you brought it to me? But that's just part of the, you got to clean it up. You got to take care of the baffling. You have to get it. It's all prep. It's like anything else. Prep. And once it's properly prepped, it's not bad. But everyone thinks that it's going to be this easy thing. I was foolish enough to believe it myself, but I worked my way through all the learning curves, and here we are now. We're having a good time with it now.
Dude, where do you see Best Damn Powder Coating going in 5+ years from now?
Man, we are already at a point of needing expansion so bad I can't even tell you. We are full. We have expanded our territory into the back lot. My landlord is a very cool guy. So like there's an actual gravel lot behind my building. Yeah. And he's like, at the beginning I was only supposed to use like this much of it. Yeah. But like no one was using it, and I was like, hey Howard, what's up, man? I was like, can I expand? And one day he's like, dude, he's like, no one's using it. He was like, just go hard out here. Yeah. So like we've set up some wash stations outside. I got a shipping container to expand square footage. We have a little storage building out there. But man, I need 3 times the shop that I have right now. But dude, commercial real estate in the area is crazy. Yeah. Like you think it is expensive to go try to buy a house? Go try to buy some crappy old steel building, dude, on a concrete slab. You're like, there's no way. Yeah. There's a like little small old mechanic shed shop across the street from me on like 2 acres, 3 acres, and they want $1 million for it.
For that shop?
Yeah, for $1 million.
Jeez.
I looked into like purchasing another place, $3 million.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's very expensive, but it'll work out the way it's supposed to when it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, I'm in a good place right now. It's very cramped. We need another set of oven. We need another oven. We need another booth. We need 2 more bays. Like, we have the potential to be doing a lot more than what we're doing right now, but we are just kind of stuck.
And you guys offer more than just powder coating. You offer a ton of other services as well too, right?
All right, so we do powder coating, obviously. We do Cerakoting. That is high temperature paint. Well, it's not even high temp. So Cerakote is a wet paint application. Most of our Cerakote is for hot side parts. So turbochargers, headers, turbo manifold, downpipes, screamer tubes. You can Cerakote them. There's a couple colors in the high temp to choose from. Black and bronze are very popular. I like the gold. But what the Cerakote does is it insulates your part and stops heat soak. So it brings ambient temperature down somewhere between 30-40%.
Really?
Yeah, so like it's like heat wrap, but it doesn't destroy your parts.
And you said it's a wet application?
It is a wet paint application. There's a couple of series. The C series is a air cure application, and then there's a V series that is an oven cure application. So I like the C series personally. It's a better look. But you know car people, dude, when they want to get something coated, man, it's always like, I got to be at a race on tomorrow or Tuesday, or I got a car show coming up. And so like I shoot a lot of V series, and it's fine, don't get me wrong, but the C series is just more buttery looking, you know what I mean? It just has a little bit of a slickerness to it. But besides that, they have other colors and options in series that have hardeners in them. So like for the firearms and stuff like that, that's a different series. We could even do plastic in Cerakote.
Really?
Yeah, they have a really low cure application Cerakote, and you can cook it at around 180 degrees, which plastic and like polymers and stuff will take. So we do that. We have something that we like to call the full service. We have 1 bay, 1 lift, and if you want your tires removed, wheels powder coated, car stored there, drop off on a Monday, pick up on a Friday, that's all done. If you want to bring us your whole car, have that done plus your calipers. I'll pull the calipers off, tear them down, rebuild them, bleed the system, put them back on. That's about 2-week turnaround on that. So that's the full service. We have tire mount and balance. We have, what else do we do? Sometimes we will offer, like, other people will need the old finish stripped off. As I was going over before, that's one of the hardest parts when you get going, is the ability to remove old coating. So now that we've gotten a little further down the road, we have a very quick option for coating removal. And so we'll do that every once in a while. Sometimes you need something blasted, we'll do a little bit of blasting. Just things like that, you know? So we do the powder coating, the Cerakoting, we have the full service, we have the tire mount and balance. And that's something that I want to expand on in the future, but right now we're limited space, limited staff. So you really have to make an appointment for absolutely everything right now because of the lack of area, you know?
Correct.
Yeah, like, sorry, the lift is booked up for 2 weeks. And so you also have to call ahead if you want the full service. And I think right now we're booked out like 2 months.
And is it like you call up, make an appointment, deposit type of deal?
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yep.
You guys offer the engraving as well too?
Yep, we have a laser engraver. So if we do a project for you and you have your own shop logo or you have your own like Instagram tag or anything that you want, we can laser engrave that into the powder coat, or we can laser engrave it into the Cerakote. And the cool thing about the laser engraving is you think that exposing bare metal would cause rust, but it somehow forms an oxidation layer over top of it and will not rust.
Really? That's interesting.
Yep.
Well, where are you guys located for the viewers?
We're in Indian Trail, North Carolina.
Well, thanks for coming on to the podcast again, Kirby.
You are
welcome. It was
welcome.
a pleasure having you on, and hopefully we do plan on doing another podcast with you soon.
Part 2, man. Let's get into the tiny truck next time.
The tiny truck, I want to do a whole podcast about just the tiny truck.
I want to talk about nothing but the tiny truck all the time. That's my favorite.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.